Welcome back, everybody. We are joined with Sean Walker.
Howdy, hey.
Yeah, that.
That was English.
I think that was just a couple letters.
I think so.
Did you
Well,
say
to be
ID?
fair, have you ever seen Welsh spelling? It's like WYYZX5.
To be fair, I've only just woken up, so yeah.
So to give Sean a little indicator of what we're talking about now, and to reiterate it to you guys, we are on the New Day versus the Primetime Players. Yes, I can fuck up reiterate, but not the players this time around. I was pissed about this, man. Fucking New Day lost. Damn it. Not only does that suck for my fantasy league team, but I love the New Day. I don't want the Primetime Players to be my tag champs. I'm really hoping that something happens where New Day wins the titles back at Battleground. And it's not out of the realm of possibility. They could. But now I'm getting a little worried that they're not going to. The match was pretty decent. The promo beforehand was funny. With the whole Big E and Xavier Woods come out and it's like, Kofi Kingston should have won, but we got to give him the claps that'll, oh wait, shit, how did they, was it the clap treatment or something that they said? Something that came off like that it should be something completely different. That was fun, though. There's a fun part in the match that I really laughed out loud at when Big E was doing an abdominal stretch on Darren Young and started slapping him to the New Day chant.
You could tell that
that was
Titus
good.
actually was getting stung by those. Like, watch his body language. He was getting pissed off about that. I think there was even some banter backwards and forwards between them.
So I like this match, but man, fucking New Day, they should have retained.
I like the match also. I was upset with the ending for two different reasons. Number one, I like the New Day, their title run. I thought they've been doing really great with it. I also like the Primetime Players a lot. I want to see them get the belts eventually, the titles, but I thought it was too soon. I think this feud should have gone on a little bit longer, at least until the next pay-per-view. Battleground, right? Yeah.
Yep.
I think doing it this early, they pulled the trigger too early, and I like to see people chasing the title a little bit longer before they get it. Make it pay off more, make it mean something. The fact that it changed hands so quickly, I was disappointed. I like Primetime Players.
I think you guys are missing the story they're telling here.
What is that?
New Day rocks.
What was different between this New Day tag team title match and every other New Day tag team title match?
2 instead of 3.
Exactly. That was the entire point of this. This is showing that without all three guys, they're pussies and they can't get anything done. Now what they can do next time is the Kofi's back in the corner and they recapture the titles. In addition to that, it's not as if they haven't built Titus O'Neil up recently. He's got being fucking running through people on Raw. So, whilst I'm a fan of the New Day, and it took a while for me to actually, until they turned heel, I couldn't stand them. I enjoy what they bring. I would have liked to have seen their title reign longer, but I'm perfectly okay with how it happened because it was booked correctly. From a storyline perspective, everything makes sense, and it doesn't mean they can't recapture the titles.
What about you, Sean? Did you like this?
Of course I like it. You know why? Because I predicted Primetime Players were going to fucking win.
Yeah, didn't we make a whole big joke about WWE listens to what Sean wants?
Yeah, pretty much. And guess what? It turns out they do. No Roman Reigns winning Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins kept the title. Primetime Players won the title. So happy days.
So I have you to blame.
Wow. Blame WWE creative, not me. I'm just the middleman.
I bet you were the one that was like, Paige should cut a promo beforehand about standing up against bullies.
Did you really?
That was terrible.
She should have stand back.
To be fair, this entire pay-per-view was terrible.
It really was disappointing. And,
Overall, it was. There was a few highlight points, but overall, it was pretty bad.
I was definitely disappointed in this outcome because I really like the New Day. And one of the things that bothers me about this is we've got SummerSlam coming up. I can't picture the Primetime Players going into that with the titles. And really being worth anything,
They can drop them at Battlegrounds back to Kofi and
They
Big E.
really need to.
No, PTP is dropping the titles to Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. Yeah.
I hope not. What I would really, really want to see at SummerSlam, and they probably wouldn't do this, but, if something were to pop up and they would be like, hey, we'll listen to what Tony wants instead of Sean. Ideally, in my mind, you do a 6-man tag title defense. You have the 3 members of the New Day, and either you pair them up in a way where they're fighting 3 people that you don't know what to do with on the card, or you go funny with it. And one of the things that I think would be hilarious to do and really fun, like an odd segment where you would kind of look at it and go, wait, this is kind of fucked up. Why are we doing this? But it would end up being really entertaining. Have 6-man tag title defense, New Day versus Curtis Axel, Macho Mandow, and incorporate a 3rd person, and they can dress up as Ultimate Warrior. Just 3 older stars, newer people dressed up as them against the New Day thing. I think that would be really fun. Even if you had the New Day, just 2 of them faced the Lucha Dragons, or maybe the Usos are back or something like that. It would be so much better than Primetime Players versus anybody, because they're just blah. I don't dislike them, but they're nothing compared to the New Day in my mind.
They could just be a transitional tag team, or it could just be to tell this whole 3-2 storyline. They could drop it on Raw, SmackDown, Battleground. So I'm not overly worried yet. I see the New Day recapturing it.
I say give J&J a chance. I'm going to hashtag that.
Hell, you could do 6-man tag New Day versus J&J and Kane. Where it's basically Kane against the 3 of them. I'd be down for that too. But
I'll pass. I'm not a big fan of multi-man tag matches.
in general, or
in
titles?
just in general, especially for titles. It has to be for anything more than your normal 2-on-2 tag match. It has to be built up and it needs to make sense. It needs to be like a Survivor Series type thing. I actually hate 6-man tag matches, though I think it's partially because it's been the
fucking week.
It's been the main event for Raw for the last decade. So
yeah, as far as the 6-man tag idea, J&J and Kane versus New Day, I'd be fine with that on a SmackDown or a Raw maybe. But I don't want that on a pay-per-view. So
where do you guys think that they'll go with the tag titles? I mean, Wego says that they're going to go back to New Day, but what would you do, Wego, with SummerSlam?
With SummerSlam, they really don't have any babyface tag teams built up right now. There's nobody in NXT that I'd like to see other than Enzo Amore and Big Cass, because I think promo-wise, imagine the New Day and those guys go backwards and forwards. That'd be fun as hell. Assuming the mainstream audience are into Cass and Enzo's act, the reason why they're so fun to watch is because the fans know everything word for fucking word. So
they still boo Carmella, though.
Yeah.
That's actually a part of the act, though, and I find it actually adds some charm to it.
That's because she's hot as hell.
And you can't teach that. So if it was up to me and I could do whatever the fuck I want, I'd have Enzo and Big Cass grab those tag titles from NXT and come over and have a champions versus champions match. I just took the Peyton answer where he just goes, yeah, bring this NXT guy up.
What about you, Sean?
Can I take Wigo's answer?
Sure.
I'm taking Wigo's answer.
What about you, Kalen?
As far as where they're going in the future, I could totally see what Sean was saying about having Harper and Rowan maybe have it heading into the next pay-per-view or heading into SummerSlam, rather. But I would like to see, and I've been thinking this ever since they premiered on the main roster, I'd like to see Lucha Dragons take the titles at SummerSlam. At least that's my opinion right now. As much as I love the New Day, I love seeing that. I think with their gimmick, they don't need the gold right now to be over. So I would like to see the titles elevate somebody else. And Lucha Dragons, I think, are definitely have the talent to be the title holders. and I think the gold would definitely elevate them to that level. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping Lucha Dragons can pick it up eventually.
My biggest issue with that is the Lucha Dragons aren't ready. They've not. That's what I meant before. There's no babyface tag teams that have really been built up, because they had a strong debut and they could have rid that wave of momentum right into the title picture. But as soon as you don't capitalize on that, they're fucked. They need to regain that momentum before I can buy them being in a title feud. Now, if you want them to have them chase for several months, I could be down with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm worried about? Primetime players win another rematch at Battleground, and the match we get at SummerSlam is a Fatal 4-Way. Primetime players, Harper and Rowan, New Day, Lucha Dragons.
They probably will do something like that. It'll be disappointing. I don't like when they do that.
Then Harper and Rowan win the titles there. Then it's Harper and Rowan versus Primetime players at Night of Champions. They retain at Night of Champions, and then Harper and Rowan are just, it's them. Like, it's the most basic thing, and I'm worried about that happening.
Yeah, but I agree.
I'm worried. Sorry,
I was just gonna say I agree with what you were saying, Wago, as far as them dropping the ball with booking the Lucha Dragons. If they would have kept up and been consistent with pushing them, I think by the time SummerSlam rolled around, they would have been ready. But yeah, I guess you're kind of right. You know, as far as they haven't been around on TV, to, you know, as much getting the kind of push that they need. So as much as I'd like to see that, the booking would have had to been starting the proper way months ago. And
you see, they could debut on the next episode of Raw, get a huge pop, and have been in the title picture. But because they've already debuted, it's fucked them. One thing I am worried about in this whole scenario is, whilst Kaelin's right, they have the talent where their act doesn't need the tag titles. If they don't have the tag titles and they're not involved in any tag title feuds, they're not going to get booked. They're going to be the guys that get forgotten about, and then they'll fizzle out. So I want the New Day to have the titles just for that reason.
Yeah, I'm worried about that too. Because, like, what are the matches are they going to have, you know?
Main event.
Yeah, nobody watches main event.
Yeah, unless they've got a reason to book them, they're not going to book them. They'll just be left off.
And that's
then
a
we'd
shame.
have to see more of these primetime players backstage skits that they've been doing.
Which are all abysmal. The only thing worse than fucking Paige's microphone skills.
Yeah, I'm not too fond of that. Holding out hope that New Day wins the belts back, but I'm getting more and more worried that that's not going to happen. Either way, though, I thought for Money in the Bank, I thought that the match was decent. So disappointed in the outcome, but what came before it was good. Of course, tell us, guys, what you think the tag division's going to be doing over the next couple months. We'll try to figure that out. Leave those comments below. We've got one more match to talk about for Money in the Bank, and that is the ladder match for the world title. So stay tuned for Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins.